So, have you ever been scrolling through your feed and noticed something? Like the loudest people online, the ones always, shouting about how successful they are.
Oh, absolutely. It's constant.
Right. But often they aren't actually the ones making the biggest impact or even the most money
That's true.
because there's this whole new wave of real wealth and it's happening pretty much in silence.
Hmm.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this fascinating world of what we're calling quiet money.
Yeah. And what's really interesting, I think, is how it just flips the script on the usual online entrepreneur playbook.
Yeah.
Completely turns it upside down.
How so?
Well, we're talking about business owners who basically don't post, like at all. Investors who don't brag. Deal makers you might never even find online.
Okay.
Their focus just isn't on getting famous or building some huge personal brand online.
Right.
It's purely, invoices, not influence. It's about serving clients, not chasing clout.
Right.
They're basically the opposite of that online guru persona, just working away under the radar.
And here's where it gets really interesting for you listening. A lot of these quiet operators, they're making more money, sometimes substantially more, than your favorite guru shouting on TikTok.
It sounds counterintuitive, but
Think about it. Our sources mentioned some great examples, like this guy running a car import service.
Yeah.
Super successful.
okay.
And he runs it all through WhatsApp and Telegram. That's it. No fancy website, no posts, just solid reputation and direct referrals.
Wow. Just word of mouth, basically.
Exactly. Or there's this woman who ghostwrites entire ebooks for really big name influencers, making good money.
Hmm.
And she never posts a single thing about herself or her work. Total ghost.
So the influencers get the credit, she gets the check.
Yep. And then there was that team anonymously managing like a dozen local Instagram pages for small businesses,
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
charging steady monthly fees, and nobody publicly knows they're the ones doing it.
So it really makes you ask, why? Why is this silence such a powerful strategic advantage?
Right. What's the strategy there?
Well, think about it. When you're loud, everyone's watching you, judging every move.
True. Scrutinizing everything.
But when you're silent, people tend to underestimate you.
Yeah.
And that can actually be a huge advantage. Your smartest move, maybe?
So it's not just avoiding distraction.
That's part of it, definitely. A big part. But it's also about leverage. You see, these entrepreneurs, they build these incredibly deep, trust-based relationships, often operating almost entirely on direct referrals.
Okay, that makes sense.
They pour everything into the actual service or product, letting the quality speak for itself instead of, flashy marketing that doesn't always deliver. A reputation built quietly on excellence. That lasts way longer than some viral trend.
Okay, that tracks for focus and strategy, but I guess what about getting started? Or if you're trying to scale, doesn't being totally silent make it super hard to get initial traction? Like, how do you build trust with zero public proof?
Yeah, that's a really critical point. And it kind of highlights a common misunderstanding. Quiet doesn't mean invisible or inactive. It means being intentional with your visibility.
Right.
So instead of blasting stuff out to everyone, they do very targeted, often one-to-one networking or small groups.
Got it. More direct.
Exactly. There's social proof. It comes from like private testimonials, direct client referrals, and just consistently doing amazing work. It's building a reputation from the inside out through real relationships and results, not trying to manufacture from the outside in with public posts.
Right.
I mean, think about it. One really happy client telling their network. That's often way more powerful than 1,000 random likes.
Yeah, definitely more valuable.
And it lets them build solid internal systems too. Stuff that actually works, not just stuff that looks good for show. They can, innovate quietly, pivot fast if they need to, and just stack wins without telling competitors their whole game plan.
That is a powerful distinction. It's such a huge contrast to that social media thing, that performance loop you see everywhere, where entrepreneurs feel trapped, like they have to constantly perform for the algorithm, chase likes, post, just to prove something, often while the actual business suffers.
Right. Burning energy on the wrong things.
But these quiet entrepreneurs, they just skip that whole validation game. They go straight for the value, prioritizing real deals, real results over how things look online.
Exactly. It really just comes down to focus. Focus over noise. These quiet moneymakers prove you don't need a giant following or constant updates to build something significant. No noise, no desperate need for followers. Just focus. on delivering value, building real connections.
So, okay, if you're listening and you've been building something, working away quietly and maybe wondering, do I need to start posting about this all the time just to look legit?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the real flex
Yeah.
is not posting at all.
Sometimes the loudest bag really is the smallest one, and the biggest bag, well, it moves in silence.